Hello and welcome back to another Unstoppable After 50 series. I'm Karen Cerezzo. I am a women's health coach, a fitness trainer, and your menopause mentor. So I love these videos. I love doing these lives because it gives us an opportunity to hear from all kinds of different types of women that are making such a positive impact in the lives of so many other women. And so today, joining me is a serious powerhouse. Keocha is going to be joining us. I'm going to go ahead and get her on here. There we go. We're going to be talking about such an incredible topic, which is really about using your voice, especially for women after 50. Hello!
Hi, Karen.
How are you? I'm just checking to make sure my volume is up. I'm really just giving you a hug from afar.
Oh, same. Received, and I am exchanging, like giving you the hug right back.
Okay, thank you. I am so excited for this conversation because I hang on every word you post. I hang on every word you
Mm.
say. I feel like I surround myself with women that empower other women and really focus on rising up other women. But you live it in everything that you do. And being just in your presence always makes me feel so good and so connected. And so I'm just glad you're here. And I know you are so busy. So say thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Oh my gosh. First of all, thank you for that. I feel the very same way about you. Always
Oh,
have.
thank you.
And listen, people, I just want to tell y'all, I'm really not that busy. I it appears that I am, but I have done some really hard work in making sure that I live a balanced life. And
Yeah.
not even balanced, more harmonized than anything, just making sure that I have time for myself and for my family. So it looks that way, but I have more downtime than people think, and it's on purpose because I know what it's like, especially with this perimenopause.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
I can't do too much
Oh, it's
anymore.
exhausting.
It
And
is.
it's so funny because I feel the same way. People are always like, "Oh my gosh, you were everywhere. You've got to be so busy, so overwhelmed." I'm like, "Girl, do you know how much time I spend watching Real Housewives? Believe me, I have plenty of free time." So
Yes.
I'm good. Okay, so before we jump into all of the things that we're going to talk about, let's go ahead and really introduce who you are. And you wear so many hats that I can't even keep up with the list of things that you do. So tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and how you got started.
Okay. So Keocha LaFleur-Anders, that's what the K stands for. A lot of times people are like K-A-Y. I'm like, no K period. It stands for Keocha, and my husband and I have been here in Round Rock for 18 years. And as you know, Karen, it's been primarily at first in sports performance,
Mhm.
which was his business, right? He was a trainer and fell in love with that. We were into youth sports real heavy. And then when COVID came around, I was just kind of like, I miss doing the things for myself. I had gotten so, which I don't regret, but just very caught up in the lives of my children and what he was doing. So everything was football. But I was missing some parts of me. And so thought it was like, it's time to get back into writing. And writing is what, when I rediscovered my love for writing, that's what snowballed me into everything else. So then got my wellness coach certification, which I thought was going to be just for me to share with other people, but it really was a time for me to develop and
Yeah.
grow and heal, which was amazing. And so that, and then that led me into publishing, and publishing led me into Coffee Milk Media, where I am right now. But I'm still doing all of that. So I'm still wellness coaching, even though it's changed a bit. I'm doing more speaking and workshops, but that piece, and then publishing, and then also Coffee Milk Media, which is encompassing a lot of different things right now. So we're working on a documentary. We are basically the planning team behind this TEDx Round Rock Women. We are like lots of live events, and just really I'm doing what I love. And
Yeah.
it took a long time for me to really design things to where I'm honest with myself about what I want to do. So I'm doing all the things I love right now.
And I feel like this is such a common thread for women in their 40s, into their 50s, into their 60s, because I left teaching I don't know, at 43, 44, and I was like, I'm so over this. Like, I'm over living for everybody else, and there's so many things that
Mm,
I want to do for myself. And I feel like we finally just kind of step into that role, and we're like, you know what, we need to do this because the clock is ticking. Let's be honest. When
yes.
you first started doing your writing that kind of snowballed into the media and all of that, what did you focus on? Were you doing articles? Were you writing for yourself? Were you writing for other people? What were you doing?
Well, prior to, so the thing that got me started into being visible, because I've been writing for a very long time. I mean,
Okay.
as long as I can remember, it started off with journaling, everything I was doing every day, because I'm more of an expressive writer, and then started my own blog. I think it was Blogspot or something like that. That was back then, and just kept, but it was always for me, or I would share it with my family. But then Austin Mom's blog put out a call for writers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was my first, like, okay, so now I'm not just writing for me to read it or for people I know to read it. Now I'm actually putting myself out there for other people to critique what I write.
Mhm.
And that was the start of everything for me, because I allowed myself to be vulnerable, and a lot of what I wrote was really connected to what I was going through. So even with the posts, people go, "Oh my God, you encourage me." That's because I do a lot of encouraging to my, like, of myself. And so I don't share anything that I possibly don't need, or I'm going through it at the moment, or I just got out of a conversation and that inspired me. So that's, I'm more of an expressive writer, and focusing on the wellness piece and healing and growth and just giving ourselves a break. Like, just, understanding that we are human and we all deserve to heal, and that actually helps in business. It helps. So we just, it's more well-being writing than anything.
Well, and I think it's such a because I would get people that would ask me like, "Oh, your posts are so inspirational, or your blogs or whatever." And it's 100% a reminder to myself. These are the things I need to be living. I can preach them all day long to my clients, but I need a reminder myself of how I want to be living and how I want to show up every day. And so I totally get that of just kind of being able to write it for ourselves. And
Hmm.
then hopefully, maybe it does connect and resonate with others. All right, so you are now currently working on the TEDx Round Rock, which is, do you feel like this is a huge undertaking? Are you surprised at the amount of work, or do you feel like, okay, this is doable? I feel good. I feel like I'm in my spot. This is what I want to do. How does it make you feel when you're like taking on this big project and it's something new that's coming to Round Rock? We haven't seen anything like this before.
It's funny. So when I first applied for the license, I was thinking about it from the perspective of, this is an event.
Mhm.
I was not thinking about it from the perspective of, this is a production. So that's different,
It
right?
is different, right? It's
It's
not you're
different.
not just hosting a birthday party or
No.
a soiree.
No, not at all. But it's funny that you asked me about how I feel, because I had been saying to TJ for a long time, I'm like, I can't feel it the
Hmm.
way that, like, other people are feeling it. And I think it's because it's natural. Like, it's not that I'm not excited about it. I am
Right.
excited about it, but I feel very prepared for it. And I do understand too that the things that I've gone through in my business and the transitions that I talk about so openly, they were preparing me for this. So I feel really good, and I'm confident too, because I have an amazing team of, behind me, not even behind me, on side of me. We're doing this together,
Yeah.
and it just, it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm not quite like, doing cartwheels, but it's not like that I'm not excited about it. It just feels natural, and I feel ready, and it feels right. And so I'm walking into it confidently, because I do have such a team. I'm not doing it by myself, but I, in myself, have worked very hard to be proud of what I bring to the table. And so I feel very confident about that. And I just cannot wait. I'm going to take it all in, but November is going to be amazing.
It is. It is. I'm so excited to be a part of it, and I think because we just had an event that you did at the kickoff at the Urban Rooftop, which
So
was
much fun.
so much fun, and just standing in that room and kind of like looking at all of these beautiful women that have come together and all of their stories, and we'll get into that, but just being in that room was so there was so much electricity and so much love and support. And people would ask, are you nervous about being on stage? And I'm so excited to be a part of this, but I feel very calm as well. And I feel like God has been put me in the place where I'm supposed to be. But I
Yes.
also feel because you guys are so calm and you guys are like, we know what we're doing. We've got this. We're going to walk into this together. I think that just creates that calmness over all of us as the speakers too, because we're like, okay, we're just following your lead. This is all going to work out. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be exactly the way it's supposed to be. So
Hmm.
that calming presence that you have, it does make a huge difference for everybody around you. So
Thank
we
you for
don't have to do
that.
cartwheels. I would love to see you do cartwheels, and maybe at the next event we
Then
can
we're gonna have to
practice
go.
and prepare.
We're gonna have to go to the ER afterwards because I'm
I was gonna
busting
say
something.
we're gonna hurt our hips if we do that. Um, okay, so one of the things you wanted to do this, and the theme of it is own it. Um, you wanted to do this because you wanted women to share their stories, and that's one of the big things that you really focus on. So,
Hmm.
is that always been? Because I know you just talked about you like to share your story. It's just a way for you to, whether it's processing or healing or
Hmm.
just a reminder to be, to look at all the blessings that we have. Um, why is it so important for the women around you to share their stories?
Two things. So I'm glad you brought up the theme because the theme really speaks to how I'm walking into this too. If I'm going to say to other women that you need to own it, then I have to own it too. So I have to also walk in with confidence and know what I'm bringing to the table. But what's important to me is why it's important to me that women share their stories is many of us, and I'm gonna start with my grandmother, right? So even their generation, she was born in 1930. So women, even back then, we weren't allowed to use our voices. Many of us didn't even know what it was,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for some women, it's a discovery of your voice. For other women, it's a rediscovery of your voice. So some women have been silenced, and some women just never, because they spoke up, and some women just never had the opportunity to do that. And so that's a real thing. Even though it's shifted some and we have made progress, the fact of the matter is we still have more to say. And
Yeah.
so and because I work primarily with women, even on the well-being side, we have a lot that we hold on to emotionally, socially, mentally, that weighs us down in so many different ways, and we haven't given ourselves permission to do that. I think that we actually help give each other permission to do that when
Mm-hmm.
we share our stories. So if I'm being vulnerable and saying to people, hey, last year was a sucky year in business for me. I made horrible decisions. It affected my relationships. I had the wrong people around me. Like whatever the conversation is, when I share that, then I have women that go, oh my God, I've never shared this with anybody, but this, and this. And then her healing can begin. So it's a beginning of healing for me.
Yeah.
It's been a healing process for me to share my story. And I recognize that it is also the same way for other women. And I want to be able to, as much as I can, I feel blessed. God has given me I won't even use the word platform, but just the ability to create things in spaces where women can come in and feel comfortable. Now, am I just, because I had somebody ask me this, they were like, why did you name it Round Rock Women and not just TEDx Round Rock?
Yeah.
Right? That was very specific. And I have plans that are coming after that, but that was very specific because I wanted to start off that way, where it's like, no, we're going to go first because we normally don't go first.
We don't.
So no, we're gonna come into the space first, and then whatever rides out after that is what rides
Right.
out. But we're gonna come into this first, so that was intentional.
I love that. I love that. And I love that more women are feeling free and opening up and being vulnerable and raw, and those shared experiences make such a huge difference with connecting us.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times I wish I can take Karen at 52 and put her Karen at 16, because I didn't let other women came in. When you're in high school and college, it's a competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so bad for all of the years that we missed out on having real free female friendships, because we were so competitive of who's going to get the man, or who's got the best looks, or who's got the best shoes, or whatever it is, who's the most popular. and we're missing out. And so, I mean, obviously, what we can do is be better for our daughters and
Mm-hmm.
our granddaughters and all of that, and share that. But I think sharing those stories allows us to be vulnerable and open, and younger generation can see that these women are coming together and they're not competing and they're supporting and they're loving unconditionally. And so it's so important that we do these things. And I just love it. I love it because I feel like we've missed out on
Me
so
too.
many years. Do
Mm-hmm.
you notice, that being said, do you notice differences in the generations? Because I've gone to several of your events and you have very young, 20-ish girls, ladies, I don't want to call them girls. You've got ladies in their 30s that, are still new with their families. You've got ladies in their 40s, their 50s, and beyond. Do you notice a generational gap, or are you starting to see that it's kind of coming together?
I'm starting to see that it's coming together, and I see it in the spaces that I'm curating because I'm very intentional about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to learn from each other.
Yeah.
Even from like last Tuesday, the team that handled all the marketing from social media to video to photography, they're all young.
Yeah.
They're in their 20s. And I love that because I'm just like, hey, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And so I want to learn from you. I think we have this expectation that younger people are supposed to learn from us, and that's the only direction it's supposed to go. But we should be learning from them too. Our elders, we learn from them, but they should be learning from us too, because we have some tools now that they didn't have, especially when it comes to healing and even menopause, right? The
Mm-hmm.
information is different. And
Yeah.
so I feel like the gaps are closing, and I love that
Yeah.
because we need each other across the board, and
Yeah.
so I'm in love with that. I hope to continue to host things where every woman feels welcome, regardless of age.
Well, and it's not even, and it's so much, I mean, age is one thing, but it's
Yeah.
an eclectic group. I mean, you have
Mhm.
different socioeconomics, you have different races, you have different cultures. And it's amazing to hear these stories from other people because not all of us have been exposed to certain things. And so being able to share those experiences and get an understanding of what people are feeling and why they are feeling certain ways that we would never even think about. Um,
Yeah.
I think just sitting, because like, well, my youngest is 18. My oldest daughter is getting ready to have a baby. She's just almost 30.
Oh.
And then my mom, who's here visiting, in her 70s, having the four of us together and talking about puberty and
Mhm.
pregnancy and menopause and postmenopause. What a conversation we had. I mean, we won't get into menopause because that's not the topic today, but
Yeah.
just being
But
able to
still.
share those,
Yeah.
because my mom is learning so much from me, but then I'm able to tell my daughter who's going to be experiencing this. And then, but we're also, as she's going through pregnancy, there's so many new things about pregnancy that we're like, oh my God, we didn't do that when we were having babies and all. And so it is, when we sit down and we share and we're open and we're raw and we're vulnerable, it is a learning experience for everybody involved. So I
Yeah.
love
It's
that.
important. It's very important.
It is. One of
Mhm.
the things that you really focus on is rest and reconnecting with yourself. And I know you do that with time and energy,
Mhm.
but you also do that with your writing. And
Mhm.
so, what are some of the things? I know you've got some really fun things coming up that are kind of surround writing and rest. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to host a workshop series for a while, just hadn't had the time to, and now I'm just like, nope. It's for others, but it's also for myself. And so I'm
Mhm.
offering this 4-part series workshop called Authentically You. And I recognize that a lot of the women that I work with are super busy. And so it's one workshop per month, but then we get a one-on-one together after the workshop to really start to discover, develop, and then deliver your story. And unlike TEDx that has its own, hey, here's how you do it.
Right, very
Um,
specific.
very, very specific. I believe that, not that I don't believe that what they do, that's a different brand and a different way of
Right.
doing things. But for the purposes of helping women discover, develop, and then tell their story, basically, we shape that up to like, how does that fit you? So I'm not giving you a blueprint on how I do it. What I am teaching though is how you go about through the well-being side, because I bring that into everything that I do.
Yeah.
We have many stories to tell, but in this season of your life, what story is that you need to tell? If it's connected to your business, what story is that? If it's for personal healing and you just want to help somebody else, what story is that, right? So that's the discovery part. And then we actually develop it, because a lot of times women are not telling their stories because they feel like they have to tell every single detail. And a
Yeah.
lot of times that our stories are connected to other people's. So there's some things that I might not share because it's actually connected to a story about my
Mhm.
mom. And that might not be something that she wants to share. But I can still tell it in a way that honors me and my story and my truth without crossing over into hers. So that's where the development part comes in. And then the delivery is okay, just how we did coming to the stage. I want to be able to give women an opportunity to stand on stage if they want to. So the next one is going to be, hey, do you want to tell your story? Sure. If you don't want to tell your story, maybe you deliver it in writing, because maybe that's more comfortable for you. You're not a video type of person. You don't want to stand on the stage. And so it's very personal to the individual, and that's part of the work that I love to do on the wellness side, because I feel like everything that we do is very individual to us. We all have a different formula, and it's all about finding that formula. And so that's what we do connected to writing in that space.
Do you notice that people are fearful of sharing their stories because they feel like they're not a good storyteller? Like going back to like elementary school when you had to write paragraphs and
Mm-hmm.
had to write, once upon a time kind of stories. Um, you notice that?
Yeah, I have noticed that. But my whole thing is, and I've said this even with speaking, when people say, "Well, I'm shy about telling this story." But why? It's your story.
Right.
Nobody else can tell this story better than you can. And if there's a vulnerability piece to it, okay, so let's dive into that, because I get that. Whether you write a book or you get on a live or whatever, you're being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Anytime you open up yourself to people to critique or to have some type of feedback, you're being vulnerable. But vulnerability really should be celebrated. And there are times and spaces where you should do it, and there are times and spaces where you shouldn't. So there's discernment that comes into that too. But at the same time, you are a storyteller when you're
Hmm.
telling your story. It's
Yes.
There's no formal way to be a storyteller. And I know some people may disagree with me about that, because some people are really, which I don't hate because I'm doing the same thing, shaping their business around storytelling. But some
Hmm.
people have a framework that you must follow. And for me, I'm like, no, let's talk about you. How would you like to share your story? Because you are a storyteller. You have a story to tell.
Yeah. And it's sad that, because I always felt that way too, because I was a terrible writer in school. And I remember when I was teaching language arts that kids would be so scared to share because, my teacher in fourth grade said, I didn't use the right adjectives or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. And I'm like, we have to forget all of that. You're just here to talk. Just talk as if you were talking to your best friend and you were just explaining an event that happened. And so it's hard to get past that sometimes.
It
So
is.
obviously, I work a lot with women over 50, and I feel like their stories are meant to be shared. Like you have so much
Mm.
experience. Plus, you're going through so much in this time period. We've got menopause, we've got launching adult kids, we've got aging parents, we've got changes in our finances, in our careers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've got changes in our health, whether that's positive or negative. And so, do you ever see like women 50 and over where you're like, they're ready to step into it and they've got these amazing stories to share? How do you get them to just be vulnerable and say, this is your time?
Well, first I say we need your stories.
We
And
do.
and really and truly, as a human being, we have a responsibility to, like, I feel responsible to share my story for the next woman. Every time I think about, like, I've been trying to break up with Facebook for years. I keep saying, I'm getting off of Facebook, I'm getting off of Facebook. And then I get a message like I did 2 days ago where someone is telling me I tried to take my life in January. your post helped me. You just don't know how much. And this is somebody I know and haven't talked to in years.
Right.
But I'm reading this long message and I'm thinking, okay, this is why I can't stop telling my story.
Yeah.
So for women who are older, we need your stories. We need that wisdom. We need your lived experience. And I feel like as an elder in a sense, because I feel like I'm an elder to somebody who's in their 20s, right? So we think of
Yes.
elders like, but I'm an elder at 47. So, but we need that. And it's a responsibility to pass down the wisdom that you have, because to be honest, not all of us had moms that shared truth with us because they didn't know the truth, right? And so if you know something that you can share with someone who may not have been taught that, then you help free the next person. And so we have a responsibility to share our stories, and but to do it in a way that honors us, not
Hmm.
put us in a, not at a deficit, but at the same time there are ways to do it that still is it honors us and it helps to free other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I
we
think
need it.
it is. It's so important. And the other thing is because we grew up, before the internet. We grew up
Mm-hmm.
before cell phones. So we didn't document, everything that we did or ate or went to or whatever. And so this is our opportunity to kind of look back and be like, look at these crazy things we did that don't have records.
Yeah,
But that we can share, and the fun things that we lived through and the experiences that we did that we don't have photos or anything for, and it's our way to tell those stories as well. Plus, I always say it, anybody I meet, I will talk to you about menopause. I will
yes,
preach it from the rooftop, because there's not enough, we don't know enough about it. And so
right.
I feel like there's so many other women that have the same information about something particular that is their wheelhouse, whatever it is, that please tell me, because I want to learn from you. I want to experience that, because I'm not going to necessarily get that experience, or I didn't have that experience growing up. So it's so
Exactly.
powerful.
And two, I want to say, um if it's hard for you to tell your story to strangers, start with your family.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much into storytelling because of my grandfather. My grandfather always told stories. My grandmother, it was kind of painful for her because she didn't have the best experience with her mom. But with my grandfather, he told stories all the time. So not only did we learn history, but we learned a lot about him, the things that he loved. He would tell funny stories. I was always around to hear, all of us grandkids were always around to hear him tell stories. And so I fell in love with stories because of him. And then I had teachers in my family, and including my mom, that worked in the library really early, that read to me all the time. But it was easy for me to grab onto those because I was learning a lot about my history. I was learning about a lot about my heritage. I was learning a lot about my grandfather and even how he met my grandmother. And every now and then she would chime in with a story. But I was learning more in my family. So even, and that's a healing experience in itself.
Yeah.
Even if you are like, nope, don't want to write a blog. I don't want to stand on the stage. I don't want to tell my story publicly. Start with the people who you love
Yeah.
and who love you, and open up more. And yes, in a safe environment, right? You don't want to just start spilling to people who are going to use that to harm you. But at the same time, like those who you can, if it's your grandchild or your daughter, your son-in-law, like whoever you have like a close relationship with, start telling stories with them and getting comfortable, because something you say is going to pass down a nugget or some type of wisdom to them. And we need that.
Yeah, it's surprising, just that little piece that somebody will pick up that you wouldn't think was important, but for them it was,
Yes.
especially in that moment. Like they needed that.
Yeah.
Well, or, and you're really big about journaling. That's another place to start. Get it
Yes.
down on paper and then go, talk to your dogs, and then move on to, talk to somebody that can talk back to you, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, have that two-way conversation. I love that. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate all this. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. So right now, the big thing that you have is you're doing a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping lead the production of TEDx. You're our fearless leader here, TEDx Round Rock, and
Yes.
women. I gotta put that in
Yes.
there too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that in there. And you've got the virtual
writing
classes,
workshops.
right? And so all of them are virtual, right? The four sessions.
Yes, all of them are virtual, and then the one-on-ones are virtual, and then we're gonna plan another coming to the stage for those who want
Okay.
to tell their stories.
Going into that, do I need to have any level of skills? Is it something like I can be just fresh and new to all of this, but I know it's something in my heart that I want to do? Is that
Yes, it,
okay?
very fresh and new. Don't need to know a thing, because at the end of this, you may discover that you actually are not ready to tell the story,
Okay.
but you have the tools. And
Okay.
so, and because we work on the well-being piece of it too, I believe in being creatively well. And so everything that we're going to, it may boost you into writing a book, or you may, like, it may spark something else for you, or it may not. You may sit on those tools and go, okay, I'm not ready yet, but I'm a simmer. I'm gonna let this simmer and stew on this for a little bit, and when I'm ready, I will tell it. And so, yeah, you don't have to come in with any skills, any expertise. Definitely no storytelling like experience or whatever. Even though you do have storytelling experience because you've told a
Right.
story,
You've
right?
definitely
Yeah. So
we do
yeah.
have the experience. We just don't acknowledge it all
Yes.
the time. I will share that link so that people can check that out and
Thank
get
you.
get involved in that and sign up for that because I think it's going to be an incredible experience. And like you said, even at the end of it, you decide you want to write a book, which number one is amazing. Maybe it's just for your grandkids that you're writing this book for. It doesn't have to necessarily be for
Exactly.
Barnes and Noble, but man, I wish my grandma had done that. You know, I wish that I
Yeah.
had asked more questions. I wish that I had gotten more stories from her.
Me
And so this
too.
is our opportunity to now do that for the next generation, whether we
Yes.
share it for the world or just share it with our family, because it really does make a huge difference. And sometimes it's just like you said, just getting it down is a healing process in itself.
And
Because
I'll
that's
drop an idea too. So if that's a good point. I love that you said that. Maybe it's just for your family, right? Maybe it's
mhm,
just for your grandkids. Maybe you just start a journal of letters.
yeah,
Write letters to them and tell stories in it, and that's something that they can keep with them. You know, but that's still storytelling. You're
mhm,
still telling a story. You're still making an impact, a positive impact in the lives of your family, and it's a heart connection too when we tell our stories. Like, people feel closer to us. Even
mhm.
at coming to the stage, if you notice, all three women told stories different ways.
Yes,
And so, but that was authentically them. That's how they wanted, that's how they felt comfortable telling their story. They wanted to be creative and do it in a way that felt good to them. And so that's the key. That's what it's all about.
yeah, no, it was very authentic to each one, and it was so interesting to watch because they did share their stories, but it was so completely different. I loved it because
Hmm.
I'm always like, oh my god, I'm not a good storyteller. But then watching all of them doing it differently, I'm like, okay, there is no right way to tell a story. Like
No,
it was, yeah, that was a great event. It was great to watch them do that, and they all did fantastic, being
they
vulnerable and
did.
open. So, okay, so I will share that link and TEDx tickets. I know yesterday you posted there was like six left. Is it
We're
sold
sold
out?
out.
We are sold
Hmm.
out.
As of like right before I hopped on here, as a team, we were celebrating. So we're sold out of all general admission tickets, and we're just. But the party, guys, if you didn't get a ticket to the conference, it's okay. I promise you that party is gonna be craziness. So from 4 to 7 o'clock, we still have tickets left for that. They're
Perfect.
$45. You get food and all the things. You get to come and celebrate. So please come to the party if you missed out on a conference ticket.
Yeah. Well, just celebrating Round Rock. I mean, let's just celebrate our
Yes.
community. Let's just celebrate, and not just. I mean, yes, of course, the women of Round Rock, but just the fact that our community is so amazing and comes together, and
Yes.
we do have so many phenomenal people here that make
Yes.
a huge impact. So I love being a part of this community. I'm so honored to be a part of the Round Rock community. I
Yes.
know
Same.
exactly where I'm supposed to be. So, all right. Well, I'll share all those links. Anything else you want to say? Your last little tidbit of advice to all of those out there that are like, okay, I think I've got something to say.
Well, I'm gonna say, starting with even before even being able to tell your story, it really is rooted in you being well. So my
Mm,
last tidbit is to take care of yourself, get as much information as you need to be well, whether that's emotionally, physically, mentally, in whatever area. But It starts with being well, and as you continue to pour into your well-being, you'll feel more comfortable to tell your story, because it's going to be coming from a place of wholeness. So if I had to leave people with anything, it would be that: prioritize your
I
well-being.
love that. I mean, that's obviously what I focus on, but I wouldn't even have thought about that.
Yes.
I love that. That is so true. Is it does start with just feeling your best to then
Yeah,
give your best. Oh,
exactly.
thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
this.
Karen.
All right, well, I will see you soon. All right,
Yes.
thanks guys for joining us or listening to the replay, and I will be back again with another Unstoppable After 50. Bye.
Bye.